Welcome to Badger Bear Hour, where we return after a 1 month hiatus. We have a jam-packed news section for you. We have the brewmaster from Sheeps Brewing, Grant Pauly. We have a jam-packed event section for you. So, without further ado,
Well, hey, Chris, guys, good to see you all again.
Hey, guys. Yeah, we're back.
Yeah. I'm getting out of here, though. Y'all do the news.
All right, Chris. Well, we might as well just dive into it, right? 2 months of news, right? Are you going to talk twice as fast? You going to talk twice as fast?
If it's possible, maybe that would work. Just kind of compress everybody. People love it when people talk fast on these kind of things. Right?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Apologies. We're gonna have to move pretty quickly here. So apologies to all the missed stories from the last 2 months. But we're gonna start with the big geopolitical news of the last couple of weeks. Ukraine. Efforts to help that country, of course, have popped up across the country, and brewers are no exception. And as far as I could tell, the first brewery in Wisconsin to really help out was Lakefront in Milwaukee, which makes a lot of sense. They've got deep ties to the country. They've been selling their beer there since 2016, and employee Andy Youngworth, he handles their exports for Lakefront and does a whole bunch of other stuff, has visited Ukraine 6 times in that period. To the point where they've become friends with other people, other brewers at like beer festivals and stuff. So they actually brewed a collab beer with Pravda Brewing in Lviv, which is certainly at this point is Ukraine's most prominent craft brewer, and their profile has really elevated a lot since the war started. And I mean, that's a terrible reason to become famous, but a lot of people know about Pravda now. So after the invasion, Lakefront created a special crawler label featuring a caricature of Vladimir Putin. Greg, do we have that? Can we show? I should have mentioned that on the rundown. But it's a caricature of Putin, and it's captioned "Putin is a dick," which I think is a sentiment that many of us can agree with here. And these things have been selling like hotcakes. So, and the crawler approach is pretty cool because they didn't want to wait. They wanted to move quickly, and you can print up labels for your crawlers a lot more quickly than you can do a beer, get the label approved, do all that stuff. So they can fill these crawlers then with any Lakefront beer. And what they're doing is they're donating $10 from each crawler sold to the you gotta there you go. Oh, that's killing me using the Shepherd Express instead of Milmag. All right, that's fine. What they're doing is $10 from each crawler is supporting the Bank of Ukraine's humanitarian relief fund. So that's a lot. I mean, $10 for I think they're selling any beer for $16.
Yeah.
So that's that as far as these kinds of causes go, that's a lot of bang for your dollar there. And so far they've raised more than $45,000 as of I think Monday. And they at that point they had another maybe I think it was something like 1,000 labels ready to be sold. So that's just fantastic stuff supporting Ukraine from Lakefront. Hats off.
Yes, absolutely. And I think if they haven't done it so far, they were going to print up T-shirts too to have available online.
Yep, you can order. I think you can find it from their website or certainly their social media.
Yep,
you can order crawler labels themselves for $6, I think, and then they have T-shirts too.
Yep,
same deal. All the Lakefront's very generous with a lot of their philanthropic type efforts. Yeah. And obviously $10 per crawler. That's a lot. So
yeah,
good stuff.
Really, really good stuff. That's not the only Ukraine relief effort in Wisconsin, though, right, Chris?
Yeah, no, we got Pravda has made 5 of its labels and recipes available online for free use for fundraising and these kinds of things. Similar to what we saw with Black is beautiful. And a lot of brewers are going that route. One I know for sure is Bare Bones Brewing in Oshkosh. They're doing a dry hopped strong ale called I forget what it's called, but it's Russian. The name of it is Russian. Yep. And I imagine that they're probably not the only ones in the state doing that. So keep an eye out wherever your area is. And then brewers in the Madison area are banding together to do all 5 of the Pravda recipes and possibly some more beers for the same purpose, and then releasing them at a big festival that they're planning for April 24th at Wisconsin Brewing in Verona. Wow. A lot of the details of that event haven't been announced yet, but you might want to save the date because that sounds like a pretty cool thing.
That's awesome. Then I'm seeing here that Ukraine isn't the only collaboration cause that has gone on recently.
No, not at all. Yeah. So March is that International Women's Month? It's like Women's Month for sure. Yeah. I know International Women's Day was March 8th, I believe. And on that front, we've got not 1 but 3 collaboration beers in the works or even out already. Coordinated by the Wisconsin chapter of the Pink Boot Society, which is a trade group that supports and promotes women in the brewing industry. So the first of these beers was actually brewed back in January at Titletown in Green Bay. So it was ready in time for Women's Day. And this is a cool backstory. It's called Octavia White IPA, which is named for Octavia Van Dyke, owner of an eponymous brewery. That means it's called Van Dyke Brewery. Sorry. Sometimes when you're writing this stuff, it makes more sense, and then you say it, and you're like, "What an egghead." So owner of Van Dyke Brewing, which was in Green Bay and operated from like 1881 to 1908. I'm from Green Bay. I'm into beer. I didn't even know about this. So cool highlight.
That's awesome.
And then the other 2 beers also made by all these beers are made by teams of women brewers or beer brewery employees from around the state. The 2 other ones were brewed in Milwaukee last week. Third Space Brewing, where Pink Boots president Samantha Danon, the local chapter president, is a brewer. They hosted the brew for Like a Girl IPA, it's called, which will be I think that's going to be distributed across the state wherever Third Space beer is sold. And then over at Lakefront, I think this one's a smaller batch, might be draft only, but a team of women brewers there made a grisette with Earl Grey and citrus peels.
Wow. Yeah.
Earl Grey must be a favorite of somebody. I wonder if it's Maggie Skinner, because one of their first IPAs was an Earl Grey IPA. This is quite a few years ago now, but I wonder if Maggie Skinner from Fermentorium is an Earl Grey fan. I'll have to ask her about that.
Yeah.
So the bottom line of these, again, a portion of all proceeds from these beers benefits the Pink Boots Society's efforts to get more women into brewing. And this is not these are not chump change here. Last year, Third Space also made Like a Girl. I think it's a different recipe, but the effort last year, they donated more than $4,000 to Pink Boots. So good stuff.
Very, very, very cool stuff. Yeah. We are racing through this, Chris. What's next?
How about some openings? We got openings to talk about. All right, so we'll start with a little bit of old news here, but it's new to Badger Beer Hour. That's over in Madison, where Starkweather Brewing opened back in I think it was February 10th. So we've told you about this place before. It's the new ownership and management of the Next Door Brewing Brewpub on Madison's east side. The brewing talent there is Peter Schroeder, who is a longtime home brewer around Madison, and he was the former head brewer at most recently the former head brewer at One Barrel's Brew Pub on just up Atwood Avenue from Starkweather. So there's that one. Okay, we also have a couple new tap rooms opening. Stay with me here.
Hey.
One is in Lake Mills, where Tyranina, which is in, of course, Lake Mills, is opening a new location in downtown to supplement the production brewery, and they've got on the edge of town. They have a tap room in there, but if you've ever been in there, it's super small. You can only have maybe like under I would say under 10 probably. There might be a couple tables. It's pretty tight. It's not the kind of place where you can really like do a lot of on premise sales. So they're opening a little storefront downtown, not far from Sunshine Brewing, which is about 4 years old. So that create a nice little walkable brewery cluster in downtown Lake Mills. And Tyranina is expected to open this fall. And then in the Milwaukee area, Good City Brewing is opening another tap room. Stop me if you've heard this one before. They're opening tap rooms like crazy. This one is in the Mequon Public Market, up in the North Shore, and this is their third public location, in addition to the East Side the original East Side Brewery. They've also got tap rooms in the Deer District next to Fiserv Forum downtown, and in Wauwatosa in the what's it called? Mayfair Collection.
Wow.
So that the new Mequon spot is expected to open pretty soon, like late spring. So should be good
for them.
Yeah.
It's very cool stuff.
Busy.
Yeah. Do we have anything else before we cut you off and get to the interview?
Yeah. Okay. How about a couple odds and ends to wrap up here?
Sure.
Here we've got two up with Walmart of all things. So check this out. The mega retailer is doing mega retailer is another one that I don't think I would ever say. I don't think if I were going back and rewriting this, I don't think I'd write that. But Walmart's doing a regional series of Black is Beautiful beers this year, and they tapped. So they started with the originator of Black is Beautiful, Weathered Souls in San Antonio, and then they hooked up 12 other breweries around the country to make the beer for sale in their stores, kind of in those areas. And there are two partners in Wisconsin. One is Hinterland in Green Bay, and the other is Mobcraft in Milwaukee. Which Mobcraft, of course, has been busy of their own plans to open up tap rooms all over the place.
Right.
Colorado, Illinois, another one in Wisconsin. So they're busy beavers. And their version, so these versions of Black is Beautiful will be available at stores. I think it was something like 20 stores for Mobcraft, and I think probably a similar number for Hinterland. Those are coming out this spring. Unclear exactly when. So, and then a portion of those proceeds again will benefit social justice causes in the Black is Beautiful spirit. Interesting side note is Mobcraft's version was developed from the Weathered Souls recipe that Marcus Baskerville shared with everybody who wanted to take it. But they, most breweries did a little tweak to that recipe. And Mobcraft worked with a Milwaukee Black-owned brewery startup called CAC Brewing. So that was the first I'd heard of them. It sounds like it's a one-man show at this point, doing kind of little tastings and probably like homebrew type stuff. But I'll be making some calls on that, figure out what the deal is there.
Yeah,
definitely someone to keep an eye on. And finally, speaking of Hinterland, we've got some other news of note out of Green Bay. Hinterland's brewmaster Joe Carls has retired after more than 25 years with the brewery.
Wow.
He was the business's first hire back in 1996 and is now its first to retire. So congrats to Joe Carls on a illustrious career, including Luna Coffee Stout, one of my Wisconsin favorites. And speaking of retirements, up in your neck of the woods, Landon.
Yeah.
Friend of show and Jacob Leinenkugel Brewing Company president Dick Leinenkugel announced that he is retiring at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be replaced by his nephew, Tony. I'm going to go with Buer. Bugher.
Yep, not entirely sure on that one either.
Bugger.
Yeah, sure. Buger.
But he's his nephew, and he is a Leinenkugel, so he will become the 6th generation to lead that family company, which is now, of course, a unit of Molson Coors. Which all of this makes me think that if I had just asked him what his future plans were back when he was on the show in December, because I mean, you remember how he was just slamming those Cellar Big Eddies, they were going out of style. he's retiring. Of course, he's going to be. He's in the world.
Yeah.
So maybe we could have broken that story live on Badger Beer Hour if I just been better at this job, I guess.
Well, geez,
maybe not.
You failed as a journalist, Chris.
Yeah, bad stuff.
Well,
anyway, that is the Badger Beer Hour news for March. There we go. Interview. All right. I'm pleased to welcome to the show one of my very favorite people in Wisconsin beer, the always loquacious and always engaging Grant Pauly. He's the founder and brewmaster of Sheeps Brewing. There he is. I'm glad we coordinated our outfits today, Grant. That's great.
No, we're doing well. I think plaid pretty much works for any coordination for anyone these days. It's nice, it's in, and it's half my wardrobe.
Man. Nice. I have to tell you before we start, quite a few years ago, I came into a lovely. It was my favorite glass. It was a Three Sheeps. I'm sure it's the one. I think it's the one that's in the tap room. It's the standard. It's a nice, perfectly sized Willie Becker. It's just a beautiful glass. That's the one.
This guy. Yeah.
I poured a beer for my father-in-law on his birthday on Sunday, and he was like, this is nice. I'm like, this is a nice glass. He said, this is a nice glass, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And I said, it is my favorite glass. Isn't it great? Would you like it for because it's your birthday and everything. So I rinsed it. I didn't even wash it, but I gave him the glass. So
you gave me your glass. Good man.
I did.
Yeah.
So now I'm drinking a Lager and Friends glass, which is good too.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, how are you? Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, you bet. No, thanks for having me. We've been talking about this for a while, so it's nice to finally get on here.
Indeed.
We're good. Indeed. Yeah, we're good. It's nice warm weather today is always pleasant, and
beautiful.
People are out getting excited for St. Patty's Day.
Okay.
March Madness.
Usually they say to start with some softball questions, but I'm gonna go right into the tough stuff. So, how's business? Are we still in recovery mode here in the industry, or what's going on?
We're business is good. I mean, we've recovered nicely. It's different than it probably would have been at this point had COVID not happened. Definitely, it's different. But no, I mean, we're doing well, thankfully. People were awesomely great supporting us. We leaned into a lot of things, invested in, busted our butts to just do as much as we possibly can, and thankfully, it's been panning out for us. It's different. It's weird. I don't think people have figured out how they're drinking yet. They're still drinking at home. They've invested all the money in their back patios and their house drinking sets and everything else, but they still want to go out, and there's the trends just. They're still not making sense, and they still aren't following patterns. There's times where, on a Monday, I'll look over and our tap room will be full, and then on Thursday when we actually have bartenders there to work, we're empty. So we're doing well amongst all of it, but it's like every 2 weeks we still try to figure out what's the new normal, and it makes it fun. We enjoy it, and we're just thankful that people are still drinking and letting us keep making beer.
Where are you guys at with kind of the mix of draft and package, from before times to now, and do you see that kind of getting back to that original levels, or?
So we're fortunate. We were about 50-50 before COVID, draft to package, which is a really healthy break between the two, and kind of atypical. Usually most breweries, especially as they get older, always are a little more packaged than draft just because of the opportunities and the channels out there and grocery and chain and that sort of thing. But we right now I'd say we're closer to 60% package, 40% draft. So we've recovered really well from the draft point. Our sales team's out there, and again, everyone's really excited to be able to bring takes in as well from a bar and restaurant standpoint. So we have a lot of good friends and partners out there that are still pouring our beer, and leaning into it, and people are out drinking again. So I don't know that we'll ever get back to 50-50. It would surprise me if we did, just because I don't see the trends going back to what they were beforehand. But I think people are going to keep drinking one way or the other. So we will hopefully be able to keep growing as a result, and just might be more cans.
Yeah. One of the things you mentioned was investing in pandemic in some different things. I know one of the things that you did, and we had a little reveal on the show, was some contract work. I'm not sure. By the way you're looking at me, I'm not sure if you want to talk about this, but the sneaky pills, Three Sheeps pills cans under the Door County Brewing,
the Door County Brewing, yes,
which was a great beer and we loved it, and that was a fun little surprise as I cut off the label to recycle that can. I'm like, oh, look at this, but that's funny. Something that's new for you guys, right?
Yeah, I've been good friends with the Door County crew for forever. Back when Danny was brewmaster, I thought he was phenomenal. The beers they were making were great, and we started talking a few years ago, and they were kind of looking at some opportunities, and we were right at the beginning of COVID, and I didn't know what our world was going to be like. So we kind of started talking like, hey, why don't you guys brew with us? So they started. We make with them. We make all of their beers, and it's been just a really nice relationship. They're good people making good beer, and it's just been another thing for us to kind of keep our equipment running and allow us to invest deeper in personnel in our quality laboratory and everything else we need as we kind of keep bigger. So yeah, I never intended to do contract work. We weren't doing it because we were shrinking, or it wasn't a desperation act. It was more of just as long as you guys promise to be nice and have fun with us, let's make some beer together. And they have been, and they've just been just great to work with. So yeah, we're still making beer with them, and we'll probably continue to do so for a while.
Nice. Okay, I want to get to another hard question here. I mean, this is fun. This is more fun stuff, but let's talk about your latest beer. So tell us about the arrival of 15-2 Stout, and this is a sore spot with me, the departure of Cashmere Hammer.
We've had to axe beers over the years. Never stung like Cashmere Hammer. Cashmere Hammer, we weren't getting rid of it because it wasn't selling well, but it had to go because we were getting rid of our bottling line. We are now making beer only in 12-ounce cans, except our bomb. We're still doing bombers for barrel age. We bought a smaller machine, but we couldn't maintain both lines and kind of keep growing and investing the money we needed to make sure that packaging was in great condition and everything else. So it had to go, and I am not a huge fan of nitro cans. One, the investment in equipment to do so is extremely expensive, but two, I just, from a standpoint of, that vessel needing to be under such pressure in order for the nitrogen to absorb and hold itself through, we just didn't want to go down that road. So we knew that we had to come up with something great to replace it, which was 15-2, which is our most complicated malt bill of any brew we've ever made. There are, I think, 13 different types of malt in there. Like smoked cherry malt, rye, chocolate midnight wheat, a few different types of wheat malt, almost all Bruce malts, all the way through. And it was a really fun one to make because we haven't never really done a CO2 based stout before on a low ABV basis without adjuncts or chocolate or things like that. Like this was our first just straight up CO2 stout on distro. So I was nervous to get it right, and we did a lot of trial batches, a lot of R&D, a lot of beer through our tap room to get people's opinions and what they thought of it. And yeah, we're really happy with where we ended. And then leaning into 15-2, a good cribbage reference for our brethren, it just kind of all came together nicely.
Yeah, the label is actually, I mean, this is a theme, of course, with Three Sheeps beers is just great label artwork. This one has the red, green, and blue kind of stripy cribbage board. Greg, maybe we can grab an image of that if you can. Sorry, not our strong.
What image?
It's a 15-2 Stout. I think it's. If you check my Twitter feed, it's on there somewhere.
What's it called?
15-2, 15-2.
All right,
which is, I'm sure, a common I'm sure the people say 15.2. What, like, wait, what? You know, in response to hearing that. So relatively often.
Yeah, it takes a minute, but I appreciate it. I mean, and we're gonna have fun with it too, because 52, 15.4, 15.7. I mean, we can just go hog wild with this.
Oh,
Game.
I see.
Yeah. I'll let you know. We already have some resting in barrels, and we're just gonna see what happens with it another year and what direction it might go for us.
Excellent. I could see a whole cribbage series out of this. Excellent. All right. So that is just to be clear, that is a year round. That's a new year round.
It is. Right? It is. Yep. That just started hitting package about 2 weeks ago, so it'll take a little time to get everywhere, but yeah, you should be able to find it in most corners of Wisconsin in the next month or so.
Yeah, I tried to get it at Ray's this week, and they did not have it yet. There it is. That's the label.
There you go.
Kind of a tight zoom on it, but yeah, it's really cool. But I did on the bright side, I did get a nice closeout price on Cashmere Hammer, so loaded up on that for the. I'll be trying into those glasses for a few months. I'll trickle it out a little bit.
Well, it has a good shelf life. I've had year-old Cashmere, and it still tastes great because of all the nitrogen in there. So I myself have a basement full just to make sure I can make it through the next few years.
Excellent. Okay, and that was not your first new beer. This is I think in consecutive months you've got new rollouts here. So tell us, what about offshore? This is
sure.
I mean, it seems like when Wisconsin brewers are starting to do West Coast IPAs in their year-round lineups, that's officially a trend. So what did you see? What did you see in that style that made you kind of go in this direction? And
to me, it was watching people on that pendulum kind of swinging back from that hazy, that really low bitterness thing. People really, I think the way we're processing hops and utilizing hops now, that will go away. I think that it's going to make our beers better. But besides just having beers or hops in the whirlpool and in the dry hop and just really these big juice bombs, we wanted to bring back some balance. Some bite to it, so you can have to without it just being overly cloying and too sweet, and just make for a better overall drinking experience. So yeah, we started playing around with West Coast IPAs last year, and we were all over the board. And we tried ones that were classic, 100% old school hops. We went the other direction of just only new, and you name it, the fancy new ones. How do those present well? And we realized that it's kind of a hybrid between the two that we thought worked best. Offshore, which is this guy, is our new West Coast IPA.
Another lovely label.
Thank you. We used Simcoe and Centennial for that old school, piney resin kind of classic West Coast experience. Then we added Cashmere hops, a newer American hop that has its tropical notes to it. And between those two, we just thought it was a really nice striking balance of how we added hops is kind of more in that new method of just a whole lot of hops in there for the whirlpool and the dry hop, while still bringing in a really nice bitterness charge, creating a salt profile or water profile that is more akin to a West Coast style beer. And we find, especially in brewery, like this is what we're all drinking now, because it's just nice to have that great hop awesome experience, but have something to counter it. So it kind of washes away that, cleanses your palate, keeps it fresh and refreshing. So every set is just great again.
When I saw that kind of that hybrid hop bill, I was a little like, Cashmere on the West Coast. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but I think it turned out great, and it's a really good drink there. So yeah, it is still bitter. I mean, obviously, like I don't think does it have the IBUs on the label like an old school?
It's still we didn't do that, but it calcs out to about 80 IBUs, so it is up there. I mean, it's no palate wrecker, but I think within thankfully
times have changed, Grant.
they have. But yeah, it's our highest IBU year-round beer that we have right now at Top Water Slides.
Nice. All right, well, let's talk barrel aging a little bit. This is a part of your brew and there are so many fabulous beers in this program. Veneration, Shouts, the things that's been really impressive to me watching, as you know, how by the way, you got an anniversary coming up?
We do.
What year is that?
Yes, May 14th. 10 year. This is the big 1-0.
10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes
Who
me
would have
feel
thought,
really
huh?
old, dude.
Yeah. Same here. Yeah.
Because I wrote now you're 10. Okay. So, all right. But you know, watching this all kind of unpack over the last 10 years, you know, it's been impressive how you've been able to scale up of the business that is Central Waters or Lakefront, but I mean, do quite a lot of these beers. What's the kind of the approach to that, and how do these beers kind of fit into what Three Sheeps is doing overall?
Sure. You know, for us, barrel aging, it's 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 fun. I mean, we started putting beer in barrels, you know, I think on year 2, just to see what would happen. And we have some beer, I think that's over 5 years old right now in our brewery. We'll never sell those. We just want to kind of see like how, you know, what happens over time, what's the expression, how do things change, and what kind of flavors develop as you get your cycles of seasons through it. And you know, it's just a really fun exercise of not trying to brew a beer that's going to taste great as soon as it's out of the fermenter, but what do you need it to do so in a year from now it's going to taste great? And then what are we going to put into that beer in a year from now to make it then enhance those flavor aspects? And that's kind of how that's our approach. You know, at first we started, you know, making great beers and putting them in barrels, and we realized those don't really work out as well. You know, we need those like harsh. We need to be almost bigger than it would drink by itself. You know, like the Wolf, you know, probably our most known barrel beer. That thing straight out of the fermenter is it's not great. We had to go intentionally rough and harsh because after a year in the barrel, it would mellow to a point where it was still, I would still call Wolf a good aggressive beer, but it's aggressive in the right ways and not the wrong ones. You know, it hasn't become muted. So that's been a big thing for us, is just trying to make that base. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I mean, that beer in particular is for as big as it is dangerously smooth. You know, I mean, it's. I think of it as, I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but it's like this. It's almost like a session. It's almost sessionable in its drinkability because of that balance. You know, I think. I mean, I'm not saying to drink it, you know, at a barbecue for 4 hours in a row.
No, but that's the thing. I mean, for me, one of my favorite things when it comes to barrel aged beers or any high alcohol beers, you know, I want to hide the alcohol because, you know, alcohol is a flavor. Like it should be a layer in all the different things coming through it.
Yeah.
And if you do it well, you shouldn't taste alcohol. It just be something that enhances other characteristics to it. And that's something that early on, like I had a chance to go out to the brewery, work with those guys for a little bit, and you kind of pick up like they're so intentional in everything they do and every element of what they do for their barrel aged beers. And it was just fun to see, you know, every piece is so important, but you may not show itself until a year from now when you decide what to put in there. And that's the other big thing for us. You know, it's hard for us to say, okay, we're going to put this beer in here now, and in a year we're going to put these ingredients in there, because really you kind of have to let the beer tell you, because every barrel that comes in is a little bit different. Every seasons of our, you know, our Heaven Hill whiskey barrels or our bourbon barrels or, you know, our rye whiskey or whatever they are, you know, they're always, no barrel age release, even if we make the exact same beer, is ever going to taste the exact same every year because the barrels are different. So our goal is to get in there, and at 6 months we start tasting, put together a timeline. We've charts on charts of, you know, what's our barrel world look like, when it's going to be ready, and when can we start picking out the flavors. You know, some years we get so much vanilla, and so we want to lean into that, and you work with a really good, you know, kind of come up with like what kind of vanilla do we want, what's going to accentuate that. Is it going to be you know, are we going coconut? So we're working with like ethereal and tribal coconuts from different parts of the world, and see like which ones are going to bring out the best flavors. Like how geeky can we get with this? And it's one of our favorite things to do. It's just a lot of fun. Yeah.
So, I mean, do I understand that correctly? That like when build like you're not necessarily starting from a point where it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to do something with this and something with that. But are you kind of letting the barrels like guide the adjuncts then?
A lot of times, yes. Like when it comes to our barrel society in particular, we have, I think right now we have 5 different stout bases in barrels in our brewery. So we have 5 very unique beers in the stout world that we put into different barrels throughout. And depending on we come up to a barrel society release, and we have one coming up next month that we wait and see what the beer tastes like. We'll kind of sit down and sample it and kind of pull, and we'll kind of just have a session of like, well, what do you think would go well in there, and see what flavors we're picking out, and then that'll dictate what's going to happen. For our big releases, Wolf, of course, that's locked in, and there's a few like that, but it's we like to mix it up and almost where we have a lot of those kind of haze focused breweries where they never do the same beer twice. We really enjoy doing that on the barrel side. Just coming up, there's so many combinations of things we can do that's where we get really excited, seeing what else we can create.
Yeah, like pumpkin spice veneration, man. That's
oh man, I want to take that beer so much. Yeah, it was one of those things. Once someone put up, I'm like, man, but this is veneration. Like this is my baby, a Belgian quad, like rye whiskey barrels. And we did it, and of course, it was just good. Like it was just, I refused to make pumpkin beers because I didn't want it. It was so gimmicky. But here's us taking like what I consider like one of our pinnacle beers, and just it's still respectful to it, but you still bring in those flavors. I don't know. It was that one. I can definitely say
I recoiled at the idea, but I had a sip of it, and I kind of hate myself for it. But yeah,
begrudgingly, I know. I'm with
something about a quad, like. And in the name too, it's like it's such a traditional, and of course the rye and the fig, right? Figs.
Yep.
In that one.
Figs and molasses. Yeah.
Exactly. Molasses. I mean, it's just such a thing, and I don't know. Like I respect it so much, and then I'm like pumpkin spice. What? I don't know. But Landon's the pumpkin spice defender here on the show, so. But
okay. Nice.
One thing I wanted to kind of spin off of that you said, you mentioned the Barrel Society, and this kind of plugs into that, like you got to brew for the barrel. You have events where, and maybe this isn't a regular thing. This is pre-pandemic, but where you'd have events and people could come in and hang out in the barrel area and sample beers. And I think there was a wolf. Was it a wolf that was the raw wolf, and then like with different kind of weight points of aging, where in poured in little cups side by side, and that was just such a cool demonstration of why we do this, and how you mentioned and of getting to change the beer up front to get the outcome that you wanted. So can you talk just a little bit about that and the barrels? Uh-oh, did we lose him? He's going to be back. I don't know, Greg, what do we do here? Okay. Should we say
we have never had
we've never lost a guest. It's true.
A guest freeze, yeah. But y'all were kind of going in and out for a little bit.
He was a little glitchy, but he always came back.
Yeah. I don't know. Here, let's Landon.
What's up, man?
Did you have that pumpkin spice?
I did.
That, Chris?
Yeah.
Chris, what was that pumpkin spice? What was that
Generation.
again?
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Yeah.
It's good. I mean,
I don't know why there's such hate for pumpkin all the time.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I don't know, Chris. He seems to be frozen, and so it looks like he's back now. Bye, Landon. Chris, yeah, Grant's, yeah, he's getting set up here, and It looks like he's back. So when he settles here, can you hear Grant? Are you good? Here we go. How you doing, Grant?
There he is.
Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened there.
Flirting with we were flirting with a drop connection all along, but the audio was always good. So no worries. We're back. The question was, in a very rambling way, about the Barrel. Oh, there you go. Okay, it was about the Barrel Society events and the kind of like showcasing that process for people from, with the kind of the raw beers and then all the way through, the steps to being finished.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. Yes. So for the Barrel Society, the thing I love about our Barrel Society is we really are able to, because we have people that trust us ahead of time. They kind of invest, with us, and they let us say, hey, we're going to make 6 beers this year. Kind of have fun with it. We know that 2 are always going to be wolf variants. One is a rye barrel age, one is a bourbon barrel age. The other 4, they just trust us to go kind of hog wild. And by prepaying for it, it gives us the opportunity to kind of get even crazier with ingredients and bring stuff in and know that we have those sales, which is great because I don't know, we just get to be a little more experimental. I think it's a group who we talk with. It's a smaller community that we have a great Facebook group that we all everyone posts their thoughts on things, good or bad. We love the opinions both ways because it just helps us get better. And yeah, it's really enjoyable. So we always try to do kind of a couple classic ones, and then one a year. I kind of let everyone know, like, we're gonna have fun, and it's gonna get a little, it's gonna be a little weird. It might be more of a blonde ale in a barrel, or it could be kind of some weird funky adjuncts, or I'm a big fan of peppers. There might be some good pepper beers going on, and they're always. I think most people appreciate them. It may not be your cup of tea, but I think overall people really do enjoy that part of it because it's again, we get to talk to them, explain why we did it, how we were kind of working through. We put together a video ahead of time, and I'll sit down and kind of talk about the ingredients, what our thoughts were, how this one was created, and it's become a really fun, like, small knit community that we get to share something different with. That's not, yeah. So I enjoyed it. We've had people who've been members now for going on 4 years, kind of trusting us with 6 barrel age releases a year ahead of time.
I think that's about it that I had. Anything that you want to talk about with Three Sheeps? I do want to, before you go, I do want you to plug the anniversary party and what's happening there and stuff. I know we kind of mentioned it earlier, but anything else that you want to mention before we sign off?
Yeah, I guess the one, this month you had mentioned Women's History Month, and we are doing a bunch of events with a few other breweries where there are so many female reps in the state now that they all banded together. Juliana from Three Sheeps, along with several others,
Yes.
and they are.
Yeah.
What's that?
I just said, oh, of course, I can't believe I didn't mention this in news, actually.
Oh, no worries. But yeah, so throughout Milwaukee, they're doing events at places like Purchase, Sugar Maple, Brass Tap, Von Trier, Station Number 6, Blue Moon Saloon, and all the money raised, the bars and restaurants are putting in a bunch of cash. Everyone's matching, and it's just going to the Sojourner House, which is for domestic violence prevention and intervention services. So really great cause. They've done an awesome job coordinating this thing and putting together a really cool month, and it's been a success so far that we want to keep growing it, and we'll be back every year doing it with these breweries and seeing what can come of it. So that's been quite enjoyable. And then, yes, like I said, anniversary party, May 14th. We are finally getting back together. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll have bands throughout the day. We'll have, like I said, we're going to have our big anniversary release and 3 other ones because it is our 10-year anniversary. So we'll have 2 barrel-aged beers. One is a double barrel, and then a couple of fun different things. And we are finally, after probably 9 years of people requesting it, doing a To the Wind, just to get that out of the way, because that is from the Three Sheeps to the Wind expression. So yeah, it'll be our Grand Cru-esque brew that will finally pop out.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, and that's about it. Oh, and then actually this month, March 25th, we have another Wolf release. It's a Wolf with coffee, maple syrup, vanilla, and coconut. So it's a small one that we just kind of thought, let's get through the end of winter, do something fun. So a week from Saturday at the tap room at 11 o'clock, it'll be available for sale.
And always around anniversary time, right? Is that
So usually our main wolf release is in June, but we've started to kind of do little pockets every once in a while. Hey, we have an idea for a wolf. What if we throw 6 barrels together and let's try this? And that's what one of these is. We threw together some barrels with some good coffee, maple syrup, vanilla, coconut. Like, all right, let's do it. Let's get it out there and let people try it as well. So, like I said, pretty limited on that day, and should be a fun end of March activity.
Is that in June now?
What's that?
Regular wolf release is
June. Yeah, that'll be mid-June. Okay. Yeah, we like to do the middle of summer.
Love the summer because like everybody, like, we have air conditioning. We drink all year round.
What?
Okay.
That's why we like it. We put wolf in a 12-ounce can because a barrel-aged beer didn't have to be a special occasion thing. You shouldn't feel guilty cracking a beer. It's no different than a glass of wine. And a good barrel-aged beer, I will crack one open in the summer. It's a fun treat that doesn't have to just be when you're celebrating and getting rid of the cold.
Absolutely. And joining us, and congrats on 10 years.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Love it.
Yeah. So you'll notice Andy's not with us this month, but we're filling in for Andy for events this month. And there's a lot of them.
Yes, it is good to see.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Where do we start?
So we'll start at Hubbleton Brewing. They're having a comedy show. They're in Waterloo, Wisconsin. And it's Saturday, April the 2nd. The tap room opens at 1, live music from 2 to 5. And then the comedy show starts at 7. So tickets are limited to 70 people per show. $15 in advance, sorry, 20 at the door if they have any room left. So get those advance tickets. And then if they sell out their first outing, they'll kick open another one the following weekend, April 9th. And that one will start at 7 o'clock.
I suspect you've never been there.
I have not been there, no.
Man, what an out in the middle of nowhere place.
Yeah.
And I was there I was there 3 years ago. Yeah. I'm really itching to go back. I don't know if I'll get out for that, but I'm really itching to go back because it was so small in that I don't see they had to expand to figure out where they're having bands and concerts. So good on them. And that sounds like a fun event.
Yeah, that sounds great. Comedy shows, you don't see many of those. Or at least in these parts, you don't see many of them, but that's good.
This is true.
Yeah.
True.
Next up, Mobcraft Sour Fest. That's Saturday, March the 26th. And they got wild and sour tap takeover, plus breweries from across Wisconsin pouring wild and sour beers in the brewery.
And that's downtown-ish Milwaukee.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. That's always that one's been going for a while, man. I don't know how many years, but that one's been going for a while.
And they do some crazy stuff. So if you like sours, that's the place to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then we've got Roar Off the Shore Brew Fest. That's Saturday, March 26th at the Kewaunee County Fairgrounds. It's from 2 to 6. Beer, wine, and food tasting at the Kewaunee County Fairgrounds with around 200 microbrews. 200. Jeez.
Wow.
100 wines and 8 to 10 food vendors. Man, that is quite the day. Cost of the tastings is included in the price of the admission ticket. I don't have the price of that here, but tickets can be purchased online or in person at select businesses. So if that's your thing, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the biggest beer fest I've heard going since the pandemic. That's pretty huge.
That's big.
All right. Well, y'all go. Cool.
My dogs are excited about it, man. That's a big deal.
Yeah, they are. You love the timing on those dogs, don't you? I mean, it's always
it's impeccable. Yeah, they're fantastic about it.
Okay.
My neck of the woods, Coffee Grounds Bachfest. So this is happening at your favorite Eau Claire brewery, Greg, the K Point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Love
coming
them.
up on Saturday, March 26th, it may not be the same as it has in the past. Usually there's snow on the ground. If we keep up with these temperatures, there won't be snow on the ground, but that'll still be nice. So they do this in homage to the Great Bachfest that was held by Shell's Brewery last weekend. They bring their own version of Eau Claire, so they use the hot pokers, and they'll hot poke your Doppelbock, and then they also do smoked turkey legs and brats. So
And coffee.
And coffee, and if you're a cigar connoisseur, which I occasionally imbibe in a cigar, they have a fantastic humidor there too. So
Excellent.
yeah.
Excellent. I love that place. You
Yeah,
know.
it really is a great place. Then we've got 9th annual Bikes and Brews. This is Saturday, April 2nd, 5 to 9 at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. So that's in Oconomowoc. You can get tickets at Eventbrite. They range from $10 to $50, so that's quite the range. Bikes and Brews is one of the coolest beer tasting events in Oconomowoc. You'll find yourself surrounded by Harley-Davidson motorcycles if you're a Harley-Davidson person. And then you can drink unlimited samples of local beer, seltzers, and ciders.
Yeah, this is a I mean, it said 9th annual, but this is an old school one, and I suspect again this is a reboot after the pandemic. I bet you they took 2 years off.
Yeah.
So good to see that back again.
Yeah, absolutely. Then another one just happens to be in Eau Claire again. So Craft Beer Experiences Beer 101. This month's experience, so April, so it'll be April 2nd, 1 o'clock, free samples and a flight, $15 value for that. The class is Beer History, What is Beer? So they'll go over the brewing process, beer types and styles, beer characteristics, beer words and glassware, and then they play a beer game to win a 3-pack of Crowlers. So, yeah, they've got a nice back room there at the Growler Guys. That's where that's at. So that's good. We'll cover the Taproom Travelers and Brew Adventures have a tasting thing going on at the end of this month. We'll cover that at the end of the show. St. Patrick's Day, of course, that's tomorrow, right? Of course, look for fun events there. The one event that is coming up tomorrow is Line & Cools is opening their pilot brewery. So we talked about that with Dick when we had him on. The grand opening is tomorrow, and so you can do a Q&A with the brewmaster. I believe his name is John Hensley. They'll have live music, and of course, the ever traditional American green beer. Starts tomorrow at 4 o'clock
at the lounge.
At the Liney's Lodge. Yep.
Right. It's also a lounge too. But
yeah, it's a lounge. Yeah, they've done a lot of remodeling there over the last couple of years. So it's actually, if you thought it was cool before, it's even better now.
It's all cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Cool. Yep.
And then, of course, one of our favorites, Giant Jones, is having their Barley Wine Fest.
Yeah, and I think this is a first annual. I don't believe they've had it before.
Okay.
But yeah, Jessica's serious about her barley wines.
Yeah, absolutely. Saturday the 26th starts at noon. Who drinks barley wine at noon? But it's going to be a good one. It goes until 9 if you can make it that long.
You right.
Looks like they've got barley wines, wheat wines, rye wines.
Yes.
From all different kinds of breweries, vintage, Carbon 4, Wisconsin Brewing, Delta Beer Lab, Working Draft, Great Dane. Yeah. So yeah, that is a place to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make that one for the record. So y'all might see me out there.
Sounds good, man. You have to let us know how it goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna get dropped and picked up.
That's probably a good idea.
I mean, come on now, right?
Last but not least, in the events, Zymergy Brewing. It is their first annual Stout and Porter Fest. This is happening April the 2nd at 4:00. You can enjoy special, rare, barrel-aged, and single-batch ales from multiple Wisconsin craft breweries. Multiple is, well, 4. So Brewery Nonic, which is also in Menominee, Oliphant, which we all know and love, and the Fermentorium. And then, of course, Zymergy and Brewer John there at Zymergy's got a bunch of special stuff that he's going to be releasing that day. So that sounds like a great event too.
Yes, and a first annual, so that's great. Good start. And I'm just happy to see the events come back.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
something that we've added. We started during the pandemic, and this is something that we've added late. And shout out to Andy who couldn't make it tonight, but thanks for compiling our list. He's our
Yes,
events.
sir.
He's our events czar. He doesn't want me to call him that, but since he's not here, I'm going to do it so he can watch the stream and hold me accountable later. But he did a great job, and we all do a great job of collecting these, and we hope to continue to bring you them because it's important to support our breweries as much as we can, especially coming out of the pandemic, hopefully. And yeah, so thanks, Landon. It's great.
Yeah.
It's last call where we sum up the good old stream that we did today, and we have some last comments. So before we get to the grand finale, Chris, we're gonna start with Landon. Landon, what do you have? You have something first, don't you?
Yeah, so my last call is we've got a few tickets left for a beer and cheese pairing that we're doing in Altoona, which is like a sister city. It's basically attached to Eau Claire here. Taproom Travelers is working with the Brew Adventurers, and that's Tuesday, the 29th of this month. 7:00, $40 tickets. If you go to the Taproom Travelers Facebook page, Instagram, go to Brew Adventures, all that stuff, you can find the link for it. You'll probably see a QR code for it. We've been hammering it pretty hard all month, so a few tickets left, $40 a ticket. It gets you, I believe, 4 or 5 beer samples from Modicum. And then there is a new place called Third and Vine here in Eau Claire. They are supplying the cheeses. And then we're just going to do it kind of interview style. We'll sit there, go through the beers and the cheeses. We'll interview Modicum about their beer, Third and Vine about their business and their beer. So it'll be just a fun time.
Excellent. And Taproom Travelers getting back into the events.
Yeah. First one in a long while.
Excellent. Good stuff. So my little piece here is that starting tomorrow, I will be involved in a Twitter Spaces weekly chat, beer chat, with my friends, the main beer babe, Carla Lauder, and the Afro beer chick herself. And we will be chatting about beer, basically beer topics. And it's not just specifically Wisconsin, but all y'all from Wisconsin, please come and have a conversation with us. We're going to have a silly conversation, a silly topic, and a serious topic every week. And we will be on there for however long we want to be. And starts tomorrow at, where are we saying? 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Pacific. Chris, join us if you want.
Yeah,
I like to have you as a guest one of these Thursdays too. And we're gonna have a guest every week. Not tomorrow. We're just gonna introduce ourselves and pretty much have a good time. But after that, we're gonna have guests and talk about serious beer topics, talk about funny beer topics, and go from there. So
Daddy
that
Porter
should be fun.
Is a media maven.
It should be fun. Now, Chris, We were talking about a media maven. This is interesting, folks. This is going to
Okay,
be interesting.
so I don't know. This is like last month sometime, or maybe in January. Leinenkugel's launched one. This is like a trend in like big beer marketing now. Is like they're doing these kind of gimmick things. Like remember the Miller Lite New Balance koozie that people just went like batshit for? Like it was like everybody wanted this thing. It was like it was just a big koozie that kind of looked like a New Balance thing, and so there all these kind of like.
I have a PBR sleeping bag, so
there
it's
you go.
it's a reversible one. It's a reversible one. I got offered $100 for it, so that's.
And you still have it.
I still have it.
Wow, wow! Look at that. All right. So anyway, and so one of the problems with Leinie's Summer Shandy coming out in January in most places is that's very much not a summer beer, or it's very much not summer weather, and they it says summer literally right in the name, and it's a good beer in summer. I'm a Summer Shandy fan, so okay. So I got I get all these press releases about all these things, and most of them I just ignore because it's like, okay, all right, here's another one. This one I was intrigued by, and I'm just gonna go. Here they are. Okay? I'm modeling. You got the hardware right here.
That's a lot of accessories.
These are heated shorts, you guys. Look at this. There's the thing. So you plug this rechargeable battery into this thing, and then you press the button, and then your shorts heat up, and then it's like, hey, you can be shorts and winter guy. Here, they're branded. These are lemons.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see them. A little too bright. There you go. Lemons. Those are my legs. They haven't seen a lot of sun in a while. They probably, to be honest, they don't see a lot of sun otherwise anyway. But here's the problem with heated shorts. If you're a shorts and winter guy, you're a shorts and winter guy. Like you don't care. You don't care about any of this. You don't need heaters.
Right.
If you're not a shorts and winter guy and you are wearing shorts in winter and they're heated, here's the problem with this. See, this is the area that's covered. So this is like wearing pants. This is the area that's not covered. That's not like wearing pants in winter. Guess where the heaters are? They're right here. These are the heaters. That's not the part that needs to be heated. That's the part that's already overheated usually, right? Okay. So you end up with hot thighs and cold legs. Yes, I've got wool socks on. And I tested these to be yeah, Simon. Thanks, dude. And to be, you do have to realize that like I tested these in winter. Today was like, you could wear normal shorts outside. And it was
yeah.
I tested these in like an actual winter day, and it was and I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand most of these things, but I particularly don't understand these. You don't need that's not where you need the heaters. And you probably, if you're doing this, you probably don't want the heater. You don't want heaters, you just want to. So I don't know. Good marketing. Wow. But I mean, it just I don't know. One thing I will say, this guy right here, he's got it's like a little side holster for a beer. That's nice. I'm gonna be using that.
There you go.
These guys, I'm not so sure. I mean, they're fine. The other thing is like there's a lot of stuff with this. And then you got to carry this around in these shorts, and they're kind of sweatpantsy, and they really pull down the whole ensemble. If you got this guy in your pocket and a wallet, and then you got your beer hanging on your side, you're gonna be low riding. So
does it at least have drawstrings, to.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
good.
There's only so much you can do when you got the beer belly, and
right.
It's kind of a physics are not on your side there. So I mean, I don't know. I just want to say, you could buy these. I think they were like $50 or something.
Oh, what kind of a
They're
grade?
very
What
limited,
kind of
so you had
what
to
kind
get
of a
them. You should have
grade?
gone by now, but
What kind of a grade do you give it?
I mean, like a D, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Okay.
because it doesn't do what it's seeking to do, and nobody really wants it to do that thing anyway. So just make this. Just do the shorts and summer. They should just lean into that shorts and
Yeah.
shorts in winter. They could
And
also
on
release,
that note,
they could also release summer shandy in like March when it's nice out. So
That's true.
gotta do what you gotta do. That's my.
I don't even know how to.
You guys want to see my legs again?
No.
It's great. We don't have to follow that up, right, Lynn? I mean, we can just get out of here.
I mean, if you want something to go with Chris's legs, I'd say more like pale ale, not maybe a little less summer shandy.
Very pale, very pale. Helles means light in German. So
yes. Yeah. Well, I am a dad, so that's a good dad joke.
I'll tell you what though, that day, that Saturday or Sunday, whatever it was, when I was walking around with these shorts on, like, and just like going to the grocery store, I've never felt more like seen, I guess. Like people were either like looking at you and being like and being like what's up, or they were like really intentionally not looking at you. Like
you just got to lean into
there's
it,
a
man.
guy with shorts on, it's
Lean
20
into it.
degrees, look away.
Yeah.
You know, so that was kind of new to me. I might become a shorts and winter guy.
There you go.
Because it wasn't that. I mean, it's fine. You just go in and out. You know, I did a little like ice chipping and stuff. It's good.
Send your beer shorts to us, and we'll have Chris model them every month.
Yeah. Yeah.
And on that note, the next batch of beer hour is April 20th, at 8 p.m. Central.
Hey guys, is there any significance to the date April 20th?
No idea.
Not to us. See y'all.
That's it.